when they see me, because I'm 225 pounds and I'm, a big guy, and they think, of course this guy can choke me. Of course, they don't expect anything else. So when I choke them, they're like, well, yeah, you were really strong.
Because either you scared of them or you scared of that record at the end of the year. As grown men say, when we walk out there as one, the man who walks in the arena as a winner usually walks out of the arena as a winner. Some of y'all still worried about what the analysts say about y'all. That ain't what you should be worried about. You should be worried about what you say about you. You can't wait for the conditions to be. You can't wait. Whatever your position is, you can't wait. You got to be a winner in your position. You got to take ownership special team. You got to take ownership offense. You got to take ownership defense. You can't wait. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to make you our champions. You have to make a decision when the year starts that this is where we're going to end up. And then you got to wake up every day and do everything you can to make sure that happens. I vow to be responsible for my position, to be a team player. It's not about me. It's about us. You.
We became something that we're not. Okay, and that's why it's very important to remind yourself of who you are. Remember who you are. I came out here today because there's things in my life that I realize that labels are being stuck upon my life and my heart that I am not. Personally, that the world tried to give me, that failure tried to give me, that people tried to give me. And some of us, what we do, we become the pain that other people give us. What we do is we become the depression that the world tries to give us. What we do is we become the insecurities that comparison of our life tries to give us. And we become that. And we start to feel less like ourselves. We start to feel not motivated. We start to feel not inspired. We start to feel depressed. And then you get this COVID-19 stuff that's going on, and it starts to attack our immune system, our mental health. And before we know it, we don't know who we are. Before we know it, we become something that we're not. And so many people in this world, they're living a life that's not theirs. And what I mean by that is that they're living a life that someone else gave them. They're living a life that pain gave them. They're living a life that depression gave them. They're living a life that a failed dream gave them. And they end up becoming that. That is not your identity, people.
Don't limit what you're capable of. And that was like awesome. And I said, expand upon that a little bit. And she goes, well, I didn't think I would be capable of this position. And I said, why? She goes, well, it's a little bit deeper. I'm like, what do you got? This is the time for, let's talk through it. I said, if you're comfortable with it. She goes, well, from my past. I said, okay. And I know I'm like riding a line that this could go really bad. Close. But I also knew it was an opportunity that if we could talk through something that she never has to go through again, or just is able to let go of something, then our day has been worth it. That's what we're here for, is stuff like this, because that's going to make her a better leader if she can let go of these, limitations that she's put on herself.
These are great times. These are great times, and these are great times because, when there's a challenge, those of us, who are phenomenal, we rise to that challenge. That's what it's all about, the shift of mentality. It's not about what happens to us, it's about how we think or perceive what's happening to us. And let me say this, I remember when I first started doing this work, being from America, I remember, not finishing school, not having my father in my life, coming from, in America, what they would call not necessarily a good neighborhood. And I remember when I first started speaking, I was good at what I did, but not at this level. Why? Because people taught me how to speak, but nobody taught me to believe in myself. No class I took taught me to believe in myself. None of my mentors who taught me how to speak ever said, you got to believe in yourself. You got to have confidence. So I would literally get on stage and waste the first 10, 15 minutes because I was overthinking. And so there are a lot of young people that are going to have this product in their hand.
Things are tragic and difficult, but there's always some stupid thing that you could do or someone else could do that could make it even worse than it has to be. And so that's life. And you need an antidote to that, because that can embitter you. Constant contact with that. Just the tragedy, but the tragedy combined with betrayal and malevolence, that makes it even worse, especially if it's self-induced. Okay, so you need something to set against that so you don't get bitter and resentful. Well, what do you set against that? Doing something worthwhile. By your own definition, say. You need some reason to get the hell out of bed on a terrible day because you've got something good to do. Well, what's the best thing you can do? Transcend your current wretched and miserable self. There's meaning to be found in that, and and that's a meaning that's associated with responsibility.
So the best people to introduce jiu-jitsu to people is like Jeff Glover. right? Who's 150 pounds, skinny guy, and he comes out and chokes you, big strong guy, 27 times in a row. They say, oh, maybe this stuff works.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing here. People look at me, they go, well, Jock was just hardcore.
Yeah.
No, not just me. Look at you. You're the one that did it. You went through a much bigger transition than I've ever gone through in my life.
Yeah.
So I say you embrace what you learned from the weekdays. Let them make you even stronger. And you use your own personal transformation that you've made in life, use that to help other people transform and get on the path as well.
Right? They're gonna have this great product with this great company, but if the company is at a 12 and they're at a 6, they're not gonna get the same results. So we have to make sure that we help them not only believe in us, but to believe in themselves. What comes easy to you doesn't necessarily come easy to everybody else. But if you know what you do, you can duplicate it because you can teach them what you do. Most of us recruit the individuals that already believe what we believe.
I think if you succeed, every mistakes become legendary. If you fail, that's just garbage. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody has great stories. Everybody had a lot of mistakes. Everybody have a lot of problems. But very few people listen to you. One day when you become successful, people listen to you, say, wow, you're great. I'm not that great. I was born in a normal family, and I'm not good at schooling. Of course, I tried to study hard, but as a boy, my school was not that good at that time. So I failed looking for jobs, looking for joining university, joining good schools. But I never give up.
I mean, like, you can make as much money as you want. You can be anywhere, any parts of the world. There are some places in America that you gotta live in America to make money. This company, you can live wherever you wanna live and make money. Imagine how many people we can help who are in poverty through this if we went up another 30, 40%. But do you know some people in your life that you felt like, man, I wish I could help get to this level? Or some people in my community that I can help get to this level? I got on the plane. I wish they were on the plane with me. The longer you keep people, more money, more money, more money. The longer you keep people, more influence, more influence. The longer you keep people, more impact, more impact. Does that make sense? That's the goal. Great things happen the longer you stay together. So we've been together 20 years. We killing the game. Not because we're the best. Not because we had a lot of money. Not because we had a great family. But there's power in unity.
When you come from another career where your life was threatened and, your life was actually threatened, she goes, because you weren't doing what you should have done. She was like, I carry that.
What was her old job?
We didn't ask. I just didn't feel like it was a time. I should have afterwards just to get a little more, information or situational awareness. But, when we talked through it, and I said, well, hey, I'm glad that you came to that realization. Like, these are that's the purpose of the training, is for us to feel these things and realize, like, hey, these tools work when we use them, and all the other stuff that we have in our mind, a lot of it's all BS because that's not the reality. And then we did our end of the day debriefs, like our key takeaways. So we do all the runs, we rotate through different positions, and then at the very end, it's like, hey, what was your biggest takeaway that you're gonna leave this training with to implement back home? And hers was, same thing. Like, I'm not gonna let my past define me. She goes, today is a fresh start.
You become so obsessed and distracted, convincing yourself that you can't do something, that you don't even give yourself the opportunity to try. This way of thinking is one of the biggest preventers of achieving your goals, and that's why I want to show you a few strategies that you can use to overcome your self-limiting beliefs. The first step in overcoming limiting beliefs is to identify your limiting step. One of the most valuable exercises you can engage in to accomplish any goal you can set for yourself is to ask yourself, What is my limiting step? What is the one factor that determines the speed at which I achieve my goal, or whether I achieve it at all? Once you've answered this question, you can move on to making a plan for how to accomplish your goals by eliminating this limiting factor.
Lesson learned. Any opportunity given should be taken serious from this point on.
People don't want to see you better than them. That's what it comes down to. You make them feel good about themselves when you're fat and lazy, and you make them feel like shit when you come from the depths of hell and you decide to fucking make it. There's enough food and pie for everybody to eat. Don't hate a motherfucker because he worked harder than you. Stay hard.
Embrace the journey and the process of life. You only get stronger hiking by going uphill. Nobody gets stronger hiking by just going downhill.
You're gonna have, and you're gonna prove to everybody that tried to break you, you're gonna prove them wrong. Everybody that tried to stop you, everybody that tried to kill your dream, you're gonna prove all of them wrong.
We did not come this far to just break down and lose now. I'm a winner. I'm going to win.
When you're uncommon, get ready for the criticism. When you're uncommon, get ready for the opposition. When you're uncommon, get ready for the common people not to understand you. When you're uncommon, have uncommon ways. Get ready for people to try and block you and conspire against you.
Never allow anybody to make you feel bad about being so blessed when you've worked your ass off to get it. You decided all the clubs, partying, hanging out, and all that shit, that ain't for me. I'm gonna be out here running in the hot sun, practicing, playing basketball, shooting on weekends while everybody else is clubbing and hanging out. You got your focus right. You see me in my Rolls Royce, private planes, rooftop hotel, 5-6-star lifestyle. I've worked my ass off to have it, and you can keep all your little slick ass comments to yourself. Cause guess what? I don't remember the last time I lost sleep over a hater.
Shut the fucking noise out. Embrace the fact that people don't like you. It means you're doing something right.
Develop the interior core where it doesn't matter if people call you crazy. One of the things limiting you from your income, your impact, a world-class life. You care too much about what people think about you. Everyone has an opinion. Why let the opinions of other people deny you from a life that will make history?
What do you do about the negative guy that's trying to bring you down? It's quite simple. Ignore and outwork every last one of them. You see, while you're over there watching me and talking about me, I'm working hard. I'm taking things to the next level. You keep gossiping and I'll keep working. You keep talking smack and I'll keep working. You keep focusing on everything and everyone else and I'll keep working. And when you finally look around at where you are and where I'm at, you realize that you have nothing left to talk smack about. You will lose and I will win.
Greatness is a part of you, you better act like it.
If you quit that easy,
I wasted my life. Okay, that's what they end up thinking. And there's really nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than getting to the end of your life and saying, damn, dude, I didn't even really try.
I have led a toothless life. A toothless life. I have never bitten into anything. I was waiting. I was reserving myself for later on, and I have just noticed that my teeth have gone.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't mess around, I don't party, I don't go out. Am I lame for that? Absolutely. And to be lame in the eyes of somebody I would never want to be like is nothing but an absolute success in my eyes. You see, it's only an uncertain person that needs company in what they do to feel like it's the right thing. But real confidence stems from doing what's best for you, even if that means doing it alone. My confidence comes from consistently pushing myself and leaving no gap between what needs to be done and what I do. And look who's out here with me. Nobody. And that's just fine.
You see that chair? Chairs didn't always look like that. Somebody had that idea. Why not you? So when you walk out and when I make them do, ask yourself, Why not me? Why can't I be the one to change the world?
See, procrastination is caused by the fear of success. You know if you did it, you'd win, and you'd be better. So I didn't do it so I could be my comfortable self. And it worked out right. I painted the fence and walked the dog. Next thing I knew, the opportunity passed. It felt so good just to be me again.
Hard work brings great rewards. This is a reminder of the hard work and dedication that I put into everything that I've done. I'm not content because I know where I came from and I don't ever want to go back.
It's 1 a.m. I'm going for my third workout. Do I want to go to the gym? Absolutely not. I'd rather, lay in my house and sit in the movie theater and watch movies. But, to be the best, you got to work overtime. To be the best, you got to work overtime.
Fellas, we're broken. We need to change. And look, I know change can be scary. Most of the time, change is a good thing. I think that's what it's all about. Embracing change. Being brave. Doing whatever you have to so that everyone in your life can move forward theirs.
Losers let it happen. Winners make it happen. Losers see thunderstorms. Winners see rainbows. Losers see icy streets. Winners put on their ice skates. Losers take chances. Winners make choices. It's all in the way you choose to think. You do become what you think about most of the time.
Remove your limiting beliefs, remove your self-doubt, remove your fear, and when you do, your life will become a masterpiece. Because you see, when the eye is unblocked, the result is sight. When the ear is unblocked, the result is hearing. And when your life is unblocked, the result is success. So many teachers and preachers are trying to tell you to add more things to your life. No. See, your puzzle comes together when you subtract the pieces that are blocking you, that are in your way. Every school teacher you ever had taught you many things, but they never taught you who you were.
That was impressive. Well, Stephen, I didn't beat him to impress you. I beat him because that's what I do. I don't follow orders. I don't bend a knee. I win.
Yo, could be. We're being mediocre, being like average and burns and sucks so much. You can't deal with it one more day. And you get off your ass and you create something that's always been there. It's always been inside of you trying to come out. But you've never wanted to unwrap it because there's too much pain and commitment.
That was impressive. Well, Stephen, I didn't beat him to impress you. I beat him because that's what I do. I don't follow orders. I don't bend a knee. I win.
Yo could be rich. You could be rich, man. But you cannot erase the work ethic part. There is no getting around. Ain't no elevator to the top. You got to take the stairs. The elevator don't go to the top, man. Not in the world of success. You got to take the stairs. Y'all got to start getting gritty, man.
If you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul of whatever the is in front of you.
Some people it's attractive and they go, I want to do that too. Like, you seem pretty happy despite all the stress you're under. Like, how are you doing that? And I'll tell people that because I create my own bull and my own way harder than whatever I'm facing in the world, and that's how I mitigate the stress of success and pressure and criticism and all that stuff. Like, I do to myself way worse than they're ever going to do to me. So that's how I mitigate it. Also,
I'm alone and look at me. There's nobody around me. Nobody likes me, man. It is what it is. Sometimes in life, people are not going to be around you to motivate you. They're not going to be around you to push you, to celebrate you, to applaud you. You got to do it on your own. That's what I'm doing right now.
I will not be outworked, right? Period. Yeah. You know, you might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me. You might be all of those things. You got it on me in 9 categories. But if we get on the treadmill together, right, there's two things. You're getting off first, or I'm gonna die. It's really that simple.
Eagles fly alone. I have no friends. Friends are problems. Friends are challenges. If you aren't into yourself, and that means something else now than what I mean. If you're not into yourself enough that you can't spend the weekend by yourself, then something's wrong with you. Vis-a-vis self-esteem, being a high-performance person, and accomplishing high-performance acts, something's wrong with you.
Every morning I lose. I lose sweat. I lose time. I lose peace. I lose sweat. I lose time. I lose sight. I lose sweat. I lose time. I lose track. And I lose. Drop after drop after drop after drop. Going the distance. Losing. So I know I always win.
My name is Kobe Bryant. I'm 17 years old. I wasn't invited to parties or friendly gatherings on the weekend. So on Fridays and Saturdays, I would go in my rec room with my basketball and basically dribble myself to sleep. And I think that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because during those lonely hours in the rec room, I discovered the hunger, the motivation, and the desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be.
He said, you know the difference between champions and everyone else? And I was like, what? He said, everyone always looks at them and says, what do champions have that I don't have? And he said, they have it backwards. He said, it's what do champions not have that I have? It's what do they lack? And it's an off button. They just don't stop. And so in dealing with the gold medals, he's like, they just never stop. They just can't stop. Everything in their life is geared towards one goal. And so finding that thing, and they approach everything in their life that way. And I think that level of obsession around like everything that you touch on a daily basis is required for really getting to where you want to go.
Should have stopped this fight with your father. I'm stopping this one now. Don't, okay? Let me finish. I gotta prove it. Prove what? I'm not a mistake.
You know, if I see something, I see an opportunity, I'm gonna go for it. You know what I'm saying? We're all gonna die one day. Yeah, it's true. So we live like that. Live like you could die tomorrow. You know, go for it.
Is that when it feels scary to jump, Ian, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life. And that I can't do.
Greatness is not meant for a few chosen people. It's meant for those who persistently pursue their dreams every day and make that choice when they wake up. So, just a mentality, really.
In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself. And after what you've gone through, if you haven't done that by now, it ain't gonna never happen.
I woke up. Everybody else is because I woke up. That's how I look at it. You all had a chance until I woke up. Today's mine. That's just what it is.
There's a payoff for bad eventually. There's a payoff. It can't be bad, but for so long. If you got the strength and the understanding to realize that, it will change. It will change. It's impossible.
Imagine that you're in a movie, and imagine the movie begins now, and you're the hero of the movie. What would that guy do? What would that guy do right now?
Yeah.
Because you are. The biggest risk to your future isn't your competition. It's the distractions you insist on keeping in your life rather than doing the things you know you should be doing but aren't. People delay doing things they don't like for longer than it takes to do them.
It's like, sometimes you have to realize, this is it. It's happening now, And this moment decides the longevity of this whole thing. So, some mornings you gotta wake up and be like, this is my thing, not anyone else's. No one can talk to me.
If everybody who's like at the bottom and feels like they have nothing going for them, reframe that as I have nothing going for me, which also means that I have nothing to lose by taking action, it makes you a much more dangerous person.
Champions do daily what everybody do occasionally. Everybody else does. You just do it daily.
You're not.
Yeah, we do.
You're not extraordinary. You just do the ordinary extra. That's it. That's what makes you, separates you.
Everybody's great when they're not tired. The champions come out. That's when that real dog come out. Because if you go piss like a puppy, stay on the porch and let the big dogs eat. Let them on the field. Have some heart.
If you did that, so as times get hard for me, the truth comes out. And my truth is powerful as fuck. It's real. It's tangible.
Patience, the thing that goes beyond hustle and hard work. The discipline of patience, the thing that goes beyond hustle and hard work, right? Because we all talk about hustle, we talk about working hard, we talk about grinding, this, that, and the third, but nobody talks to you about patience. Nobody speaks about that patience. Because in the patience, that's where you're gonna make it or you're gonna break. The discipline of patience, right? Because when you're not patient, you can make a lot of mistakes, man. Like I told you, the quote said, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap. You judge each day by the seeds that you sow, right? When you sow a seed, you gotta be what? Oh, you gotta be patient.
It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts in 2-a-days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard.
I'm one of those old school guys, you know, when you talk about men's mental health and that men have to carry this burden and men have, yeah, that's what we do. Guess what? Somebody's got to get up. I have a family, right? I have children. I got to get up every day and go to work, and I have to, you know, do what I have to do. And no, I don't. I mean, I'm give a shit about my feelings. You know, you see these guys these days on social media, like, hey, you know, you know what I'm saying? Just talking about their bad day and this happened and I'm right. And shut the fuck up.
Oh, I know.
Get up.
Oh, I know.
Get the work and do what you got to do and be a man. No, be a man.
I tell you.
Just be a man.
Doing the thing in spite of not wanting to do the thing is discipline, right? You don't need motivation to get yourself up to go and do a thing. Make the promise small, build it up step by step. Know that you are going to have setbacks, and this is my favorite rule from James Clear, which is a habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit. Never miss 2 days in a row. So ideally, go for a month, build it up. But after that, if you ever miss one day, go, okay, mistakes are going to happen. Tomorrow I double down. Tomorrow I go on time, absolutely perfect. I'm straight up out of bed, or I go to the gym, or I walk the dog, or I do my meditation or whatever. And that's a good heuristic. Stops errors snowballing into new habits. You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
I get happier about the harder it is because I know that no one else will follow.
It's a selection effect.
And I think if you can shift from this is hard to no one else will be able to do this, then it flips from being this thing that you're like, oh, poor me, to oh, poor everyone else who's going to have to try.
Yeah.
And so if you tell young men, look, you're going to find the meaning in your life by adopting maximal responsibility, right? That's going to be extremely difficult because you're so bloody useless. You can't even get your own house in order. And you're going to be called upon not only to get your house in order, but to do that well enough so some woman can stand having you around for more than like 15 minutes in the back of a car. And then maybe you're going to have to do it so that you could be a good father to a family, and a pillar of the community. And that's not just empty words. Like, if you do that nobly, there'll be something to you. And then when the storms come, you won't be blown over by the first 4-foot wave.
I found out through this path of life, who is David Goggins? Who am I? So going through all, I did it alone. There was no trophy on the wall on the mantle. That trophy's in my brain. No one helped me get there. No one paid my bills. No one did shit for me. No one ran those miles, lost that weight, went through it. I suffered on my own and developed this man who said, it's who I am, man.
That's important, man. And most people struggle their whole life to find out who they are. Struggle their whole life to find out what defines them, what they actually enjoy and what they don't.
You start putting yourself in situations that suck, you'll find yourself.
Yeah.
You'll find it real quick.
That is the thing, right? And that's one of the things that I've gotten from paying attention to you is that you what you're preaching, what you're talking about is finding yourself through struggle.
That's it.
So people always ask me, when they saw me in the gym in the pumping iron days, they say, why is it that